Well, you did it, but that was not looking happy.
That was a bit of a butt clencher. Oh, I was clenching there.
So my dad called me out here to the Switzerland Trail, pretty much Gold Mine Hill, I assume is why I'm out here.
I gotta tell you, I've been waiting to do this video for 5 years now, because it was over 5 years ago that we reviewed the last Subaru Outback. We took it up Cliffhanger 2.0, and because of the combination of the CVT and the all-wheel drive system, it cut power to the wheels, and we had the vehicle floored, and nothing happened.
Come on, baby, you can do it! You can do it! No.
We published that video, and next thing you know, Subaru stopped loaning us cars. So, fast forward 5 years, and we're in the brand new Outback that we purchased because we figured that you guys deserve a proper Subaru review. There's just too many of them here in Colorado.
I brought the 91 Cherokee. He told me to bring it, but I'm not sure why there's someone coming by in an Outback. Can you not ruin my shot? Oh.
Hey Tommy, how's it going, dude? Thanks for meeting me up here. Now, I know at first blush it seems like a 91 Cherokee and a 2018 Outback don't compete, but think about this. This was the all-wheel drive affordable family truckster, four-wheel drive, long before that came around. So in essence, these two vehicles fill the same market niche. This one just did it 20 years before that one.
Well, I guess you can kind of think of the Cherokee XJ as the original crossover. Unibody, right? And the Outback is the new crossover. That's how Subaru calls it, at least.
We've got Jeep versus Subaru, and we've got a beautiful day to go up Gold Mine Hill. Let's go.
Let's go.
Hey Tommy, you've got this really cool book that came with the Cherokee. It's four-wheeling in Colorado. There's I think it's a CJ and a Bronco on the cover.
Uh-huh.
Here's the essential gear that we need, right? First aid kit, do we have that?
No.
Fire extinguisher?
No.
Food and foul weather clothing?
No.
Drinking water?
Nope.
Radiator water?
No.
Axe or saw?
No.
Do we have any of this?
Yeah, flashlight.
And this book. We have this book.
We have
this
the
book,
book.
so we could always potentially burn the book. Back in 1984, just after I finished high school, Jeep built the original four-wheel drive crossover, and internally it was known as the XJ. You may know it as the Cherokee, and this vehicle was built until, get this, 2001, and they built almost 3 million of them. This is a pristine 1991 example, and what makes this very similar to the Subaru is, well, it basically fills the same market segment. It was affordable, it was durable, it was four-wheel drive in this case, and it could go anywhere, and that's what made it a success. And that is why we are comparing it to the Outback, because really that is the modern version of this. Phil's. The biggest difference between the two is the fact that that is all-wheel drive and this is four-wheel drive, and that means that this has a low transfer case which can basically take the engine's power and multiply it. Will that help on Gold Mine Hill? Hell yeah.
Tommy, I'm walking up Gold Mine Hill, and I'm
Looking at the conditions, there's been a lot of cars up here. It's getting really loose, rocky.
probably the kind of thing that the Subaru may not be happy about.
Or your vehicle, as a matter of fact.
You know what the Jeep motto was back in the 1980s and early 90s? Oh, what was the Jeep motto?
Only in a Jeep.
You know what Subaru's was?
Love. It's what makes a Subaru a Subaru.
No, back in the day. What was the original one?
Oh, cheap and ugly.
That's right.
Cheap and ugly. And we're not making that up, folks. It really was cheap and ugly. All right, Tommy. Bring it on up stage one. Remember, stop at stage 2, please.
Are you in 4-0?
If I haven't, I might as well use it.
Oh yeah. You know, people like to wait till they get stuck. Once you're stuck, it's too late.
So one of my big advantages in this Jeep is not the wheel or tire combo, because really, the tire size is almost identical. It's the articulation, because this Jeep has solid axles. And that was pretty common back in the day, but now it's pretty unheard of to have a vehicle with solid axles. What that means is I have extremely good articulation for a crossover, at least.
Alright, bring it on up here. End of stage 1. Looks like a walk in the park, actually.
For the sake of this comparison, we're not going to focus on approach angle, departure angle, breakover angle, because it's really about the tires. And luckily, both these cars have very similar sized and similar type of tires. They're somewhat aggressive all seasons. These are duelers, and these are Michelin Defenders. And that means that where the tire hits the ground, both these cars are at about the same, well, let's call it the same amount of traction. Now, ironically, the Subaru may actually have just a little bit more ground clearance, 8.7 inches, whereas this, at its lowest point at the diff, I think is just around 8 inches. That should make this for an apples to old apples comparison.
So this is where I really have the advantage, Dad, because we're stopped at a really steep grade.
And I can use the torque provided in 4 low to slowly crawl my way up.
Having said that, I don't have any traction control systems to get me going when I'm off camber.
I'm gonna think that I'm gonna have a harder time here because I don't have that low transfer case and that engine's gonna want to bog, but go for it, dude.
Only in a Jeep.
Now you're coming to the point where you basically get only 2-wheel traction, where 2 wheels go in the air. So let's see how it does.
Yeah, it's slipping pretty good. I'm gonna have to take it a little different with a little more speed.
Momentum is your buddy.
Nope.
It's gotten pretty tricky. You know, you may want to try a line that goes straight up toward me. I think you'll do better that way.
Try with the rhythm. Back down a little bit and then come straight at me.
Nice, that was the right line. Are you up for stage 3?
Always up for stage 3. So for the sake of this comparison, horsepower doesn't really matter, but we should talk about it anyways, because the power plants are very different. In the Subaru Outback, we're looking at a 2.5 liter flat 4-cylinder engine that develops 175 horsepower and 174 pound-feet of torque. Contrast that to the Cherokee here, which has a inline 6 that develops about 180 horsepower and over 200 pound-feet of torque. In the power department, in this case, the Cherokee is the winner. We're also the winner in terms of gearing because I have a low-range transfer case with a 4-wheel drive system in this crossover versus the permanent symmetrical all-wheel drive system in this crossover.
Wait, hold on. I'm not sure you're the winner in the horsepower department. Back in 1991, there were probably 180 or so horses under that hood. I think a lot of them have left the barn.
What do you mean?
They've gone out and gone grazing over the years.
No, they cannot leave because on the Cherokee, I have dual hood latches, 2 hood latches, because when you're off-road, you don't want that hood to be moving around.
All right, stage 1 and 2 in the books. Stage 3, it's gotten really tough now. There's a huge hole on stage 3.
This is going to be a good test of ground clearance and breakover.
Yeah, this is where the crossover meets its real challenge.
I think you've got the advantage here. You've got a lot more articulation than the Subaru, but you ready to give it a try?
Yeah, I have to eject the tape. It just got sucked into the tape player. One sec.
Well, I have a CD player, dude, and those, you know, never get stuck.
All right, it's time for the Jeep Cherokee, the old XJ, to take on stage 3. That's my game show voice. You ready?
Yep, I am in 4 low. Here we go.
Rock on!
Okay, gotta take it with a little momentum. I don't want to get bogged down in the hole.
Wow, you made that look easy, dude.
Yeah, that was great. This thing has got a lot of capability.
Now if we just fast forward, what, how many years?
27.
To the Outback and X mode, we shall see if old is, well...
Gold.
Old is gold, I like that. Old is gold.
Are you gonna take a hard line like I did?
You took an easy line.
I took a hard line.
You took, oh, come on. I'm going to take the best possible line I can. I'm going to try to get up here. We're competitive. I want that Subaru to succeed.
Well, take a hard line then.
You know, Tommy, these cars are remarkably similar in what they have. Of course, design's different, but check it out. They both have fog lamps.
Yep, they both have fog lamps. If you look at the tire size, they're almost identical.
They both have roof rails.
They both have roof rails.
They both have a similar mission in life, and that is to kind of transport you and your family across both land and off-road and snow, and get you there in a vehicle that's not that crazy expensive. I mean, the Cherokee, the XJ, was very affordable, and so is the Subaru. It cost $29,000, and we got a discount of, oh gosh, almost $4,000. We paid $25,500 for it.
Well, and the other thing too is you look at the two, right? And people think that the Outback is a station wagon.
Yep.
They think it's a car.
It's
not a car.
It's a crossover.
It's a crossover.
It's very tall.
And people look at the Cherokee and they're like, Cherokee, it's a truck. It's not a truck, it's also a crossover.
So while Tommy has a traditional four-wheel drive system and a low-range transfer case, I have Subaru's X mode. It's right here, and I'm going to turn that on. What that does is it allows the all-wheel drive system to send power to whichever wheel has traction. It's that simple. I'll let the algorithm do all the work while I drive the car. I also have this little button right here. I'm going to hit it, and quite honestly, it looks like hill descent control, but I don't know what that does. We just bought this car. We haven't had a Subaru in over 5 years, so if you guys know what this little button does, let me know. I've waited a long time to do this video, and you know, I'm going to dedicate it to Subaru because this one's for you. The irony is that you haven't loaned us cars, but I really like this car. It's affordable, it's practical, it's comfortable, it's got a great ride, it gets really good fuel economy. We would have said all that if we have had the vehicle to test. But since we haven't, we ended up buying it. So maybe it's a win-win. You guys got to sell a car and we get to test a vehicle. And I love the name Jess. I mean, it's a perfect name for this car. It really feels like it's more of a girl than a boy. All right, X mode engaged, strange button pushed. Here I go.
I see that you're moving, which is good, with a 4-cylinder at 9,000 feet up a hill.
Yeah, I really wish I had a low gear right now. I can already tell this engine is looking for a little bit more torque.
Have X mode on and traction control off.
Yeah, and that weird button push too. Honestly, stage 1 should be cake for this vehicle. And there we have it.
You know what's really cool?
What?
It's got a hill hold feature. So if I push the brake, it doesn't roll back. How cool is that?
It would be cooler if you were moving.
I'm going. Here we go.
First real true test of X mode. And I'm stuck.
Is traction off? I just turned it off, but I think it's going to take momentum.
All right, this is officially known as the Nathan approach. Figure it out, Subaru, come on. Come on, figure it out, 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 figure it out. I'm floored. I did it. That was a little bit of a butt clencher.
Did, but that was not looking happy.
That was a bit of a butt clencher.
I was clenching there. I could tell that the vehicle was really working hard, and I was just, you know, hoping nothing hit and broke.
Well, let's see how it does in stage 3.
So I don't know what that looked like from the outside, but from the inside, it was really nerve-wracking. I didn't feel like I had a lot of control. I know that the system was trying to appropriate power to whatever wheel had traction, but it was like being on a roller coaster. As you know, Tommy, we've got 2 trees on either side here. and you know, we could damage our Subaru, and I'd hate to see anything happen to Jess. That would be no good.
Well, I'm more worried about like ground clearance here and breakover, but you know, I noticed on stage 2 you were floored and there was not a lot of wheel spinach going on, so we'll see what happens here.
All right, Tommy, Jess is gonna go up the hill. You ready?
Yeah, I'll remind you the Volvo V90 Cross Country made it up here too, so no pressure.
Thanks, I didn't need to hear that. I'm smelling tire and clutch, or in this case, whatever CVT has. I'll give it one more shot with a little bit more momentum.
Yeah, you can see it's clearly cutting power. Is your traction control off?
Yeah, traction control is off.
X mode on?
Of course, mystery button pushed. Whoa. All right, one more shot. Here we go.
Beans.
Yeah, it's just not letting you spin up any wheels. It's not letting you do anything. It's just killing it.
That's always been the issue with the CVT transmission in the Subaru.
Yeah, I think we're gonna call it, Tommy. That's 2 attempts. It seems pretty stuck right here, and I don't want to break this thing. So, yeah, I think we've proved what we originally showed, that
CVTs and off-roading, even if you have a lot of ground clearance, don't necessarily mix.
Yeah, and you took that one with a lot of momentum. It's just not happening.
First blood, dude.
Yeah, but you know, it's not horrible. That's the thing, is like, you know, some of these crossovers nowadays, they've got these low chin spoilers. Even though there's a lot of ground clearance, you just end up scraping them.
Yeah, it is plastic, which means you can replace it.
So here's the thing, right?
Yeah.
You could really see going up that hill, you didn't have the torque, or something was shutting you down. Because it wasn't letting a lot of spin going on. You could hear the CVT really working hard.
Yeah.
It just didn't have the oomph to bring you up. Because a lot of the times, like in the Cherokee, what's nice about the Cherokee is that engine will just spin and spin and spin those tires until they fall off. Not modern systems like this one.
Yeah, I think, you know, what we have here is a demonstration of 4-wheel drive versus all-wheel drive, and perhaps the shortcomings of a CVT.
Oh, for sure.
Well, Tommy, I kind of feel good and bad at the same time. I feel good that we finally got to test the Subaru and kind of, you know, vindicate the fact that the CVT is cutting power like we suspected. But I feel bad that we've done a little bit of trail damage. But then again, I feel good because even though it didn't get up stage 3, I'm really starting to love Jess. It's becoming, you know, a really good vehicle for everything but kind of hardcore off-roading.
Yeah, I mean, it just goes to show how far a low-range transfer case will get you with a little bit of articulation. Look, really, I know what you're thinking. Comparing a Jeep to a Subaru, apples to oranges, but they're really not all that different.
No, you know, it's 27 years and we just got a modern version of that right here. And that one is just a little bit better off-road because, you know, as much as new tech has made it much easier to go off-road, old tech is, I think, at the end of the day, still a lot better when it comes to actual hard off-roading.
That is till I bend the unibody.
Yeah, all right. As always, this is Roman.
And Tommy.
Saying thanks for watching. Remember, come back when we do more with our new purchase. I think Jess needs to go on the, what do you say, MPG loop.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, see you guys next time. Ciao. That is a gorgeous pinstripe that just pops the Spinnaker Blue. And for some reason, we have this horrible hand-painted pinstripe. It looks like it was painted by a monkey that forgot to take its Adderall. Yeah, it's just, ugh, it's no good.